Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, William Samoei Arap Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, is a very interesting politician. And William Ruto is a political schemer. William Ruto has appointed Francis Atwoli as part of the 7-member team who will choose the next Director of Public Prosecution. For those who are following information or news in the country, Nordin Haji, who was the Director of Public Prosecution, left the other day and joined NIS as the Director General. And as per the Constitution, William Ruto was expected within 14 days to appoint 7-member team who will then select the next Director of Public Prosecution. And in according to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions Act 2013, the President must choose someone from the Office of the President, from the Attorney General's office. He must appoint someone from the ministry responsible for public service. Someone must also come from the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. The Law Society must produce one person. The Kotu must produce one, and the EACC must also someone must also come from there. But William Ruto had the option of picking someone else from Kotu, but he settled on Francis Atwoli. Why do you think William Ruto settled on Francis Atwoli? Because not so long ago, William Ruto and Francis Atwoli could not see eye to eye. And on this particular platform, I've always told you guys that in politics, we have only two constants. The first constant in politics is interest. Probably the interest of Atwoli and Ruto by that time were not converging. And the second interest in politics is betrayal. And of course, we can assume that right now the interests of Atwoli and Ruto are converging. And probably that explains why Ruto has settled on him. But let us just go back a bit. Because William Ruto referred to Atwoli as a very stupid man just the other day. What has changed?
When we came into office, let me again give you an example, because I have the benefit of a bit of experience. When we came into office, we had 3.8 million people contributing to NHIF, right? And everybody was contributing 340 shillings. Or is it 320? 320 shillings. Everybody, just like the 200 of NSSF. So we decided to say, okay, why don't we adjust so that the people who earn more, like Deputy President, can pay 5,000. Then the other people can be graduated like that. So we changed the regulation, but we were taken to court by a stupid man called Atwoli. I have no regret to say he's a stupid man, because he is. He's a very foolish person. No, ile ujinga iko.
In Homa Bay, every board member of NHIF was being promised anything. And since I don't sit on the board there, NHIF is empty. NHIF is empty. Who emptied NHIF is William Samoei Ruto. There is nothing. Ask the service providers to NHIF. They have never been paid. Billions and billions of NHIF went away. But at NSSF, I said over my dead body. I joined the NSSF when it had a 20 billion portfolio. I left in September last year when it had 120 billion. NSSF is one of the richest now. And the anchor of William Samoei Ruto, or the anger between William Samoei Ruto with me, is that I stopped him from stealing at NSSF. Simple. So he calls me names when he's in London. And you know, when he's telling the whole world that Atwoli is the most stupid person, he's not saying Atwoli, saying lawyers are very stupid people. Can lawyers produce a stupid person like me? Then he doesn't need lawyer vote. And if he doesn't need a lawyer vote, who will make him a president? He doesn't require a Kikuyu vote if he's belittling President Uhuru Kenyatta. And as I've said time and again, we are sons of a certain woman somewhere. That if William Samoei Ruto has nothing to say, he should shut up. You cannot go. Yesterday I said, why is he roaming from US? He's now in UK. He's going to Israel. I said, the international community, as I know it, and I knew it before him. Because I was elected as a shop level representative, a shop steward. When William Ruto, do you know how old he was? He was only around 9 months. Because that was September in 1967 when I was elected, and he had been produced in December 1966. 9 months I had been elected. I've been an international person before him. I did my course in Italy in 1971 when he was nowhere. So telling your father, I'm William Samoei Ruto father, calling me a stupid. And it's better, as I've said, to be a stupid more than being called you are a thief. Today I just laugh when he's telling people about something called, he's want to introduce something called bottom-up economic system. Even the people he was telling or addressing in UK, they were just laughing. It was economic growth using the poor. You must have a foundation plan or a formidable plan to execute the implementation of a really strategic economic plan that can attract both direct and indirect investments, heavy investments. And you must tame corruption. How can William tame corruption? See people around him, all of them are thieves. Tell me, who is sincere, honest, specific on Kenyan issues amongst William Samoei Ruto people? So I was just laughing when he was saying, singling out my name because I had said roaming outside there will not help him here. And saying his elections will be stolen. I said he was trying to set up a foundation of rejection of the outcome of the forthcoming elections, of which Kenyans will not allow him to do so. And I said 2014, I don't know why Kenyans don't take me serious. 2014, I don't know why Kenyans don't take me serious. William Samoei Ruto shall is mandatory. Never will he be elected a president of the Republic of Kenya.
You know, Francis Atwoli was one of the biggest supporters of Raila Odinga's presidential bid. And Francis Atwoli was one of the individuals who really fought William Ruto. And as a matter of fact, Francis Atwoli was the most hated individual from William Ruto's camp. People like Oscar Sudi, every other person from Kenya Kwanza at that time, would always not spare any moment to attack Francis Atwoli.
Hawa wakora wengi wenye wanajipanga kule wakisema tunataka tuhakikishe William Ruto atasimama. Na mlisikia vile Atwoli aliongea jana, inapatana na ile maneno Reverend Tuju aliongea vile ingine kwa majishi ndugu yake. inaambatana na ile maneno unasikia mradha akisema kila siku tutatafuta namna yoyote ya kuhakikisha kwamba William Ruto atasimama. Na ndio nikasema, ilikuwa gazeti ya Star, ya kwamba tunajua mipango yenu mpaka ya kuua. Mimi nataka niulize Atwoli, miaka yenyewe uko naye, wewe ni kama baba ya William Ruto. Mwaka yenyewe uko naye, mimi ni kama mchukuu wako. Lakini kulingana na mambo mengi yenye natembea, inamaanisha kumbe hiyo tumbo uko naye na hiyo mabiling mingi uko naye, kumbe ni mafi tu unabeba kwa hiyo tumbo. Hakuna akili hata kidogo uko naye. Mzee kama wewe kusimama mbele ya kamera ya Kenya hii na kuongea kuhusu kuna kijana hatapatikana kwa ballot box 2022. Sisi tuliuliza kwa ile bunge iliyopita, tulipoteza mwenzetu Mchai na wewe ulionyeshwa kidole ya lawama, na sisi tukasema kwa sababu hatuna haki, wacha ile kikosi ama DCI.
But as fate would have it, William Ruto then became the president of the Republic of Kenya. Then before we knew, a photo of Atwoli, Ruto, and Western Kenya leaders emerged. And that's actually what changed the political equation for Francis Atwoli. And the other day, we saw Francis Atwoli and William Ruto in Geneva. But why do you think Ruto decided to choose Atwoli over any other Kotu leader to serve in this particular committee? Because let's face it, the office of the Director of Public Prosecution is a very critical office for any political leader, which means the person who is going to be appointed to this position is someone who is going to be endorsed by William Ruto. This committee will just be a formality. Parliament will just rubber stamp. But William Ruto, for me, already knows the person he wants to serve in this particular committee. So before we get into the politics, why Ruto opted for Francis Atwoli, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And without any further ado, let us dive in. For me, I tend to think that Ruto wanted to achieve the following objectives. Number one, by appointing Atwoli to this position or to this committee, William Ruto is simply strategizing on how to subdue Atwoli. You know, William Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya. Atwoli is the Secretary General of Kotu. Before William Ruto became the president of the Republic of Kenya, Atwoli was very clear that for him, he only recognized two individuals in the Republic of Kenya, that is Raila and Uhuru. I remember at some point, earlier huko, I was at his residence, Kitambo, and he told me that the only individuals who have actually spent in his home is Uhuru and Raila. But as fate would have it, William Ruto now is appointing him. By appointing Atwoli, it means Atwoli is surrendering. And I always give people good examples. You know, if you look at the politics of Raila Odinga, he normally used this kind of tactics to subdue his opponent. When Orengo was fighting him, Orengo was out of parliament. Then Orengo came through his party in ODM and was elected a member of parliament. Then he ended up appointing Orengo as a minister. From that point up to this point, that's the moment Orengo surrendered. So he could not compete against Raila Odinga, but he could only serve Raila Odinga. Do you want me to give you another example? Do you want me to give you another example? Let me take you to my county of Kisumu. The governor for Kisumu, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. You know, Anyang' Nyong'o also fought with Raila Odinga. He wanted to challenge Raila Odinga. Then what happened? The truth is, Nyong'o was out of politics a bit. He came to ODM, was elected member of parliament in Seme. Raila Odinga appointed him into the cabinet. From that point, he was subdued. He's now one of the most loyal supporters of Raila Odinga. The truth is, Atwoli is going to be, after this, is going to be one of the most loyal supporters of William Samoei Arap Ruto. That's how you subdue your opponent. You fight, you appoint him, he serves you. From now moving on, Atwoli knows who the boss is. That's number one. Number two, I also want to assume that Ruto is rewarding Francis Atwoli for supporting the finance bill. Let's face the reality. The reality is that finance bill is very unpopular. And it's very unpopular with the workers. And the majority of workers' unions were actually opposed to this finance bill. But Ruto found an unusual ally, the Court Secretary General. And that's why you didn't see most unions organizing demonstrations or strikes against William Ruto. So I think in return, Ruto has now appointed him to this particular committee. It's a reward, if you ask me. Number three, I'm also looking at Western Kenya politics. And I'm looking at it from different lenses. By appointing Atwoli to serve in this committee, it means if someone is going to be appointed, maybe Atwoli is going to be the chair, I'm not sure, but assuming it's going to be the chair, then it means if that chair cannot produce someone from the mountain, from the Luhya nation, then Ruto will not be blamed. Who will be blamed? Francis Atwoli. But I also tend to think that by appointing Atwoli to this committee, the perception outside there is that a lawyer is in this committee. I've looked at the names who have been appointed here. And from those names, there's Francis Atwoli, there's Twali Barak, there is Mary Kimenye, I don't know, Mkabila gani. Then there is Shadrach Mose from AG's office, Kisii. Then there is Mary Mangu. Then there is Roslyn Odede. Then there is Richard Obwocha. You know, from this team, Kikuyu, Kalenjin are not there. But what I'm seeing here is the possibility of a Kalenjin or a Kikuyu getting appointed to this committee. Yeah? So that Atwoli will not be blamed, Ruto will not be blamed for if there's going to be another qualified lawyer for being overlooked. Lastly, I'm also convinced that Atwoli has been appointed here as a strategy to choose a predetermined candidate. What do I mean? Having worked with the Ruto in the finance bill, Ruto now understands that Atwoli can actually push something. So if they want a particular candidate to be pushed, then that role will be left to Ndugu Francis Atwoli. I don't know what you think. That's my take. And that's real politics. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.